corruption and maybe bride kidnapping. Oh, the first person to walk on the moon was Neil Armstrong. And I'm like, yeah, but the first person who flew to the space was Yuri Gagarin. Top 10 things that were not shown in the movie Borat 2. Hi guys, my name is Salta, and today I wanted to share with you what was not included in the Borat 2 video. And actually most of it was not included, and you probably know that it's not about Kazakhstan, it was not filmed in Kazakhstan, and that's not something that I wanted to mention. But what I wanted to mention is more facts about Kazakhstan so that you get to know the country and you'll see how different it is from the movie. And there might be some similarities, okay, I have to admit. Kazakhstan obviously is not the greatest country in the world, as Borat claims, but it's not certainly the worst. I don't want to compare the countries, but in any country there is some advantages and disadvantages and some good facts and some bad facts. And when it comes to Kazakhstan, obviously there are some things that need to be changed, need to be developed, need to progress. For example, we used to have bride kidnapping in Kazakhstan. Back in the days it was like a normal thing, and still in the rural areas it exists, and it was shown in the first Borat movie. But nowadays nobody does that for the most part, and even if they do, it's usually agreed with like the bride and the groom. And I have to say that I have another video about 9 things that I don't like about Kazakhstan if you want to know some negative aspects of this country. But at the top of my mind would be corruption and maybe bride kidnapping. Let's get into the facts that were not shown in the Borat 2 movie. First of all, one of the things that we're most proud of, and that was not shown in the movie obviously, and many people don't even know about Kazakhstan, is that the first Cosmodrome, the place where the first person flew to the space, is actually in Kazakhstan. It's called Baikonur, and it was actually back in the Soviet days. It's called Cosmodrome in Russian, but usually it's not used in English. So yeah, so Baikonur is the place where the first flight was made to the space and not to the moon. And it is funny that when we were growing up in Kazakhstan, we were told that, you know, Yuri Gagarin is the first person that flew to the space, and it was like the biggest thing that we knew about space. But when I went to the US, somebody told me, oh, the first person to walk on the moon was Neil Armstrong. And I'm like, yeah, but the first person who flew to the space was Yuri Gagarin. And then it's funny how in the US they don't teach you, or they don't tell you that Gagarin was the first person to fly to the space, but they rather tell you that Neil Armstrong was on the moon. So yeah, Yuri Gagarin actually flew from Kazakhstan to the space for the first time in human history. And that's pretty major, I would say, for Kazakhstan. Second fact that I wanted to share with you is that something that I actually learned myself recently is that horses were domesticated in Kazakhstan for the first time. And obviously horses are big in our culture. Second of all, apples were originated in Kazakhstan, and we even have a whole city that's called Apple. Well, I don't want to translate it because some people say it's Apple Grandpa, some people say it's Apple Leak City, but it all comes to apples. So the city that I'm in currently is called Almaty, and near this area in Almaty region, the apples actually originated. So that's pretty major too. Now let's get to the people. As you could see in the Borat movie, the people actually looked more European, more like Romanian. It was actually filmed in Romanian village. But as you can see, I am more Asian, and most people in Kazakhstan look Asian because, as I said, in short, we're kind of like a mix of, you know, Turks and Mongolians. So yeah, 90% of population, if they're Kazakh, they usually look like me, Asian. So that's something that was not shown in the movie for sure. Next fact about people in Kazakhstan, they actually are for the most part Muslim, and some of them wear hijabs, some of them don't, but it's very big religion here. Most people practice it. Even if they don't, they might go, you know, to the mosque once in a while. They might practice some of the things. They might be counted as Muslim. So a lot of the things that were shown in the movie are actually very forbidden and very considered as a shame to be doing, to be practicing, and it's just hitting right into the pain points of people because they actually are very strict on those rules and they cannot allow anything like that happening in Kazakhstan. So that's why Kazakhstan probably reacted a bit too much about that. But yeah, we're Muslim and that was not shown in the movie. Next fact about people is that people actually don't speak the language that was in the movie. I didn't understand anything that they were saying. And we actually here speak two languages. For the most part, people speak Kazakh and Russian. And I myself learned English, and most people like me actually learned English, and there are people who speak three languages. So that's something that, you know, we probably gained from Soviet legacy, but also from the globalization, because we have to, most of us went to study in the different countries. So English is kind of like trendy in Kazakhstan and everybody's learning it. I wouldn't say everybody speaks it, but Kazakh and Russian easily. And that obviously also was not shown in the movie. Next fact that was not shown in the movie is actually the way the streets look like. And obviously the village that was shown in the movie could exist in Kazakhstan. If you go to the very rural areas, there might be villages like that. But for the most part, it's pretty developed, especially in the big cities. We're more or less, you know, looking like a post-Soviet country, kind of like Russia, but also we have some modern buildings, and you can see that it's a mix of, you know, Soviet and then modern, and you can see very fancy cars here. You can see very fancy restaurants and cafes and shopping malls. It's a pretty developed country, and it's just not the same in the movie, so that was not shown in the movie too. Next fact that I wanted to share with you is that, as you can see in the movie, most people seem to be not educated and not, you know, intellectual, intelligent and things like that. But in Kazakhstan, even if people are, you know, it comes from the Soviet legacy again. We had this unified education system, and so 90% of population is educated in Kazakhstan. They usually have their bachelor's degree at least. Some of them have master's degree and so on. Some of them have multiple master's degrees. So that doesn't mean that people are smart, but still, you know, people strive to get the most education, the most they possibly can, to be able to get jobs and grow as a person in general. Next fact that I wanted to share that was not shown in the movie again is that we have very famous people from Kazakhstan. For example, Gennady Golovkin, also known as Triple G, is from Kazakhstan. There's also a singer who's very famous, or getting to be very famous, Dimash. So yeah, some of these people don't really look like the people in the movie, and they're actually famous in the world. They're making the country proud, so you should know about them. Next fact that I wanted to share with you, and that was definitely not shown in the movie, is the nature. We have the most beautiful nature in the world. We have everything from the steppes to the forest to the mountains, and it's just so beautiful, and you can never have enough time to explore everything. So you should definitely come visit and see that for yourself. And obviously that was not shown in the movie again. And last but not least that I wanted to add to this list is that we have very sacred relationships in our family. We cherish our family a lot. There are a lot of values that are related to the family, and we respect our brothers and sisters, our mothers and parents and fathers and grandparents and everyone in the family. So it is like everything that's shown in the movie. Obviously it is a comedy. Obviously it's not about Kazakhstan, as I said in my other video, but I just wanted to emphasize how much family means to us. We are very family oriented, and for us to see those kind of things, it's just like, you know, the worst thing that could happen, because from the childhood we're taught to respect our grandparents, even like for my brothers and sisters, I call them in a very respectable way, and sometimes I even call them, you know, there's like you and more respectable you. So there's all sorts of, you know, traditional conservative kind of upbringing that we have, and we respect, as I said, family a lot. And that's why, you know, being Muslim and being very family oriented, traditional and conservative, and seeing that movie was just like boo, you know, and that's why everybody was so annoyed. Everybody had that reaction. But the one thing that most people missed is that it's not about Kazakhstan, and it's not, people shouldn't take it personally. If we are very secure and confident, we're never going to be triggered by this movie. So I just wanted to say that most people react to it normally. I am, for example, very excited because it brings so much attention to Kazakhstan, and it brought you to this channel and to this video probably. But yeah, I just wanted to explain why people had this reaction about Borat. And as I said in my other video, 100,000 people signed a petition to cancel Borat 2, and that's like, wow, that's a huge reaction from like our population probably. So yeah, the movie didn't show any kind of family relations, any kind of respect in the family, any kind of family orientation, and I just wanted to emphasize that it's a big, huge chunk in our culture, and it is very important to us, and it was not shown in the movie. So yeah, this is everything I wanted to share in this video. I hope you learned something new, and if you have any questions or if you have any more ideas about what's not shown in the movie, comment down below, and I'll see you in my next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye bye.